Hi, I'm Larry Magid, the CEO of ConnectSafely.org, which is the U.S. sponsor of Safer Internet Day. And I'm speaking today with Kristin Buch, who is the Senior Director for Industry and Association Affairs for NCTA, which is the Internet and Television Association. They were actually our hosts when we first started U.S. Safer Internet Day. I think it was 2014. We had an event in their Washington, D.C. auditorium, and it was great. So it's great to have you back as a supporter and as a contributor to Safer Internet Day and the work that we do. Kristin, let's start a little bit about your own background and also what does NCTA do? I think a lot of people are familiar with your member organizations, but not necessarily with NCTA itself.
Yeah, so thank you. NCTA is the Internet and Television Association, and it's the primary trade association for U.S. Internet and television industry. And we represent both programmers and operators. And we are the unified voice here in DC for the industry.
So in terms of the work that NCTA does, and maybe more importantly, or as importantly, your member companies, as you mentioned, your companies are typically cable providers and internet providers. So they're both in the cable TV business with set-top boxes and all the stuff that allows us to watch TV in our homes, but also the internet business, which means over-the-top entertainment like Roku, Apple TV, things of that nature, but all of the things that that we use the internet for, everything from surfing the web to opening our front door if we have a smart home.
Yeah, so NCTA member companies, have built and are continuing to build the world's most powerful technology platform, as well as creating entertaining and compelling content. So not only do we have this technology for customers, but we have a responsibility to these customers and consumers to put this technology to its best use. And we are, as an industry, committed to teaching parents and caregivers how to get the most value out of these technologies and help them manage their relationships that they have with their families and with media.
So I know you, of course, represent a number of companies, and some of which compete with each other. Others operate in different markets. And we did have the opportunity to speak to one of your colleagues from Comcast, and they talked to us a little bit about the parental controls in their market. But of course, many of our viewers are from different markets. And I wonder if you give us a general overview. I know you can't speak for every single company, but a general overview of the kind of parental controls and tools which are typically offered by internet service providers.
Yeah, so two of them that I really love is one of them's from Mediacom. Mediacom's Total Defense Internet Security Service offers a social network defender feature. So this sends alerts when it detects possible harmful links and content within social media websites. And Midco, similar to Comcast X1, has Midco Freestyle. And so this allows their customers to be able to put different controls and restrictions on every internet connected device within their home network. And then also different companies such as like Cox, they have Cox's Digital Academy, and they offer media literacy tips to their customers. And they work with various organizations to get their customers cyberbullying information, financial literacy information, and other parental control information with the groups that they work with.
Long before I co-founded ConnectSafely, I was a computer journalist and still do some journalism. And I'm going to date myself right now, but I remember back in the day when I got started, it was all about computers. And I had John McAfee come to my home to show me how you put a floppy disk into your PC and that would protect you with antivirus software. Well, the last time I looked, there was no floppy drive on my digital, my webcam, on my doorbell cam, on my front door lock. I probably have dozens of IoT, of internet connected devices in my home. I probably have devices that I don't even realize are internet connected, like my thermostat, now that I think about it, is connected to the internet. And so what that means, I think, is that since you can't necessarily protect every device independently, you're really reliant on the pipe coming into your home, which is typically a gateway or a modem or a router or some combination of those, often leased from your cable company or whoever your provider is. And I'm curious about your industry thinking about the role, because in the old days, it didn't matter who your ISP was. It was just sort of a dumb pipe coming in the house. But now your members are playing a much more important role in terms of our security.
We are. And again, I have to say that, there is no one right solution for any household. There is what's right for your household. So there are many options. And so what I think is important is to familiarize yourself with what our member companies offer, because these controls and these settings are available. But you need to familiarize yourself with them, especially with the parental controls. You can make it Fort Knox, or you can have nothing and just have meaningful conversations to protect your household, whatever your comfort level is. But the thing is that our members are offering protection for your house. So we want to make sure people are aware that these, it does differ, as you mentioned, from company to company, but generally they're similar and offer protection for you.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because at Connect Safely, we have a number of articles about how to appropriately use internet filters and monitoring tools and all of these great tools that are available through your member companies, or as standalone software, or maybe through your operating system. There's a lot of options parents have, but we always advise parents to really think through how they're using it, to realize that they are not a substitute for parenting, and to also realize that one size doesn't fit all. A 3-year-old doesn't need the same kind of controls as a 17-year-old does. And really to put some thought not only in how you employ these devices or these features, but also how you wean your kids away from them as they get older and more independent, so that when they become adults and leave the house, hopefully, and they're on their own, they have that software between the ears that's doing the work for them.
Exactly. And, our companies hear that and have heard that. And so that's why they're flexible, and they can be for what is right for your family. And it's not just, this is what you get and that's all we offer. So I think that's great. And, you mentioned a little bit about, Roku and over the top. So when you are a cable subscriber, you have access to TV everywhere. So for example, like HBO Max, FX, Freeform, which is great kids content. And you can set limits based on like ratings or content, but that's going to change as your kids grow. But it is available for you, and it's adjustable.
And it's also important to point out that not every device will respond to every control. So you might have parental controls, for example, through your modem or gateway or whatever you call it. But if you've got a Roku or an Apple TV, you may have to use the controls that are built into that box to make sure your children are watching the appropriate programming that you feel comfortable with.
Exactly. And we, as an industry, have kept up with that. So as I mentioned, you can set them now through your Roku, or you can set them, through your router. There's a number of ways to set and access these parental controls.
But we've come a long way since the V-chip, and I bet you half the people watching
this
don't even know what a V-chip is. They still exist?
No,
tell us what honestly, a V-chip is, or was.
When I first started working at NCTA, I had no idea what a V-chip is. Yeah. But it was required to be put in every television set, and I don't remember since what year. So we have come a long way from the V-chip.
It, along with the VCR, were impossible for most people to figure out how to program.
Yeah,
I still never figured out my VCR, and I never figured out the V-chip either.
Yes, as I was learning about it, I was like, again, this is so complicated that it's just like, I don't want to even be bothered. Today, it is not like that. Yeah. I mean, things are easy to set. They're easily to understand. As a parent myself, I am so busy. So to be able to easily set something, understand something, to do it quickly to what I want to do, because I have children of, different ages. That's what's important to me. And my time is important to me. I don't want to have the V-chip and, have to read a book to figure out how it actually works. I just want it to work. And I think that our companies do a really good job of making it really easy for people.
Well, I'm glad we've come a long way since my kids were little, because the way we did it is we actually had the TV set sort of glued to the local PBS station, and they didn't know how to change the channel, at least for a year or two. And then eventually, right. You just have to talk to your kids. So, Kristin, what resources does NCTA offer that parents can go to for more information and help?
So One of my responsibilities at NCTA is to maintain a current understanding of expert views in the area of parental controls and online safety. And we've created famfriendly.com, and that serves as a curated portal where people can access information about broadband and TV parental controls. And we also point to ConnectSafely, FOSI, National PTA, because you guys developed great resources for all different age groups. So we point to you as well. So if you're a broadband or cable subscriber, famfriendly.com is a great resource that's out there.
Great. And it's called famfriendly.com. Do I get that right?
You got that right. FAM stands for family and media. So FAM, F-A-M, friendly.com.
Great. Well, Kristin Buch, the Senior Director for Industry and Association Affairs for NCTA, the Internet and Television Association, thanks so much.
Thank you, Larry.